And you're not bringing your kid every time to your appointment. We're not doing that. But I need my money, so. Just jumping straight in, the first thing with policies is you need to have a deposit. I don't care if you are doing $50 lashes, which you should not do, or if you're doing lashes for $200, $250, you need to take a deposit. Your deposit can range anywhere from $10 to $25. I've seen people do higher. I wouldn't do any higher, and I honestly wouldn't do $10. Anything between $15 to $25. Me personally, I do $25 deposits. This deposit is non-refundable and non-transferable. We're gonna get into the non-transferable part when we talk about the rescheduling policy, but this is what you need to have on your booking site. So deposits are non-refundable. Now, if you as a lash tech have something come up and you have to cancel or reschedule your client, you need to be given that deposit back. This is why lash techs have a bad name already, because a lot of y'all will cancel, not show up to the appointment, whatever, and you won't give the deposit back. If you cancel or something is on you, please give the deposit back. And that's all I'm gonna say on that. Just give the deposit back. It's just the right thing to do. Just give the deposit back. The next thing is gonna be your late policy. Everybody's late policy is gonna be different, and I would go off of how long it takes you to do each set. If it takes me an hour to do each set, if somebody comes in here 30 minutes late, I cannot do it. But if they come in 10, 15 minutes late, which my clients do a lot, I can get through majority of their set without feeling too rushed. Now, when I first started, I couldn't do that. It was taking me an hour and a half for every set. So if you showed up 15 minutes late, it took me 15 minutes to put the tape down and get everything situated for your set. So if you know it takes you a long time to prep the lashes before you even start to lash and get in rhythm, I would suggest you do a 10-minute grace period, and then that's it. Their appointment is canceled. They need to reschedule. What I always recommend you do is look at other people's booking site in areas close to you, or somebody's booking site that inspired by, and you can kind of take different policies from their site. That's personally what I did. Some people have really crazy policies. I've seen if you 5 minutes late, don't show up. When you show up to the building, do not call me, do not text me. This is the address. Mind you, this is in all caps, in red bold letters. Show up, like knock at the door right at the time. If you 2 minutes late, I'm not answering it. And people be wondering why they don't have clients. Your booking site is your first impression. When somebody goes to your site, if it is rude, if it's, worded weird, I know y'all been on people's site and they were screaming at you. I'm not going to you. And just make sure once you put together all of your policies, you read it and you will be like, okay, I will book with myself. If you want to do all caps, that's fine, but be cautious of using all caps, because certain fonts, certain colors in all caps, it's gonna look like you are yelling at your client. Your cancellation and rescheduling policy. No call, no show. So things like this. Cancellation policy. My cancellation policy is 24 hours in advance. This is the one policy that people are not going to abide by. People will tell you 5 minutes before it's their appointment time, hey, I can't make it. Some people are going to wait 30 minutes after their appointment time to say, hey, I can't make it. Other times you just gonna have people not show up, which is considered a no call, no show. How I have it on my site is 24 hours in advance. I need to know if you are canceling your appointment, because if you're canceling 5 minutes before, I can't get somebody in that time slot in 5 minutes to make up for that money that I'm missing out on from you. But I understand things come up, so I'm not gonna be frustrated or get an attitude with my client, even if it's a new client, returning client, whoever it is, if they need to reschedule or they can't make it. If you tell me 5 minutes before, I'm gonna be personally frustrated, but I'm not gonna show it whenever you communicate with me. Okay, that's fine. Let me know if you need to reschedule, whatever we need to do to figure out how to work it out. Coming up with this policy, because people are gonna cancel very often. People are gonna need to reschedule very often. You have to take into consideration traffic, especially if their appointment is around like 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. You have to think about 5 o'clock traffic, especially in bigger cities and things like that. So traffic, especially here, traffic is a big thing. People are going to always be in traffic. People are going to be late. People are going to be like, okay, well, the grace period is 10-15 minutes, but it's saying I'm not getting there until 20 minutes later. So my recommendation is going to be, it should say 24 hours in advance, let me know, and this will be without any penalties. So there are going to be some people who, if you cancel within 5 hours of your appointment time, you can consider that client a no-call, no-show and charge their card. I'm not gonna do that. Now, if you tell me 10-15 minutes after your appointment time, hey, I can't make it, I need to cancel, it kind of is considered a no-call, no-show, but I'm not gonna charge your card. My personal no-call, no-show is, okay, once it hits that appointment time, 10 minutes after, charge you $15. So this is your late fee. After 20 minutes, your appointment is canceled and we have to reschedule. If it's, once it hits 10 minutes after your appointment time, I text you, I'll put a screenshot right here of what I say. Hey, this is Joy from Lash House Atlanta. Just wanted to see if you were still gonna show up for your 11 a.m. appointment time. You know, you can just add to it whatever you wanna add. Once it hits 20 minutes, I have not heard anything from you. At that point, you are considered a no-call, no-show. I may text you, I may not, because you received the first message, so you know you're a no-call, no-show. So I really don't have to tell you. Because you agreed to it on the site, you consented to being charged as a no-call, no-show if you don't show up after 20 minutes. After that 20 minutes, I'm not initially going to charge that card right then and there, because the thing is, people know when they're not showing up for an appointment. They're gonna move their money, they're gonna lock their card when they know, okay, well, it's 20 minutes after the appointment, I know I'm about to get charged. Don't charge the card immediately, because you are gonna get that notification that pops up and says they took the money off of the card. I'm going to charge that card usually at the end of the day. So if I have any no-call, no-shows throughout the day, I will just write their name down, and then later at night, I'm going to charge the card. It has taken me and a lot of other lash techs and beauty providers a long time to figure that out, but most people are going to lock their card right when they know they're not showing up for that appointment. So charging the card right then, it's not even a point in doing that. And you can keep trying over and over and over again, but it's pointless in doing that. I would rather just hit that button one time and it says payment successful. Like, if I don't hear from you all day, the rest of the day, by the time it's like 8 p.m. and I'm about to charge that card, that's when I'm gonna consider you a no-call, no-show, and I'm going to charge the card. You do not have to charge a card, but I'm not about to sit and wait when I calculated for the day that I was going to make a certain amount of money and you didn't have the common courtesy to even let me know that you're not going to show up. I need my money. So you will have some people who get angry about it, but at the end of the day, you can just send them the consent form, which I can show you how to put that online as well. They agree to it. So as long as you take your precautions on your side as a business owner to have all of the consent from them, agreeing to, if I don't show up, this is what happens, I will be charged, I'm okay with that, then you're fine. Even if they file a dispute or whatever. And one thing I'm not gonna do, you're not gonna play on my phone and try to cuss me out or anything, because I will block you. This lady was no call, no show. I text her multiple times. This was back when I did charge the card, like within that 20-30 minute span of, okay, I just realized she's not gonna respond to me. She's a no call, no show. Let me go ahead and charge the card. Charge the card. And of course, her card was locked or whatever, and it says payment unsuccessful. And as soon as I did it, she texted me and was like, why am I getting a charge from you? Why am I seeing that you try to charge my card? So now you want to respond to my messages because I tried to charge your card, but the past 2 messages when I'm asking you, are you showing up? Let me know. Do you need to reschedule? Being very polite. You don't want to say that, but when I charge that card and you ain't got no money on it, now you want to text me? You done lost your mind. But yeah, it was just like, don't do that. Don't be rude. Rescheduling policy If you are a regular client, if this is somebody who you know shows up all the time, they've been coming to you for a really long time, if they say, hey, I need to reschedule, you reschedule that client and you don't make them pay a rescheduling fee. If anything, the most I would say is 10. I'm not gonna charge my regulars any type of rescheduling fee at all, because I know they're gonna come, they're gonna show up, and they're gonna tip me anyway. Just be cautious, because you will have some clients who always need to reschedule their appointment. They set it online for Monday. They're gonna text you on Monday, hey, I need to reschedule for Wednesday. Wednesday gonna come around, hey, I need to reschedule for Friday. Hey, I need to reschedule. No, we're not doing this, because you using the same deposit. So if you start getting that on your site, you can put one reschedule is allowed, and then you have to pay another deposit. So I'm just giving y'all all the options that you could possibly pick from and choose from to add to your site and pick as your policies, because there's a lot of different ways you can run your business. So it's honestly going to be up to you how you structure it. Another thing, it doesn't personally bother me, but I know it bothers a lot of people. Phones. This goes for you as a lash tech and your clients. You're going to have some clients who are going to sit on the phone. They're going to either have the phone up to their ear, they're going to be on speakerphone, they're going to have in AirPods. And as a lash tech, it is going to, depending on if your client makes facial expressions while they're talking, some clients are jumping, moving while they're on the phone and really not realizing they had a lash appointment. It can be very difficult to lash somebody if they are, number one, just talking to you in general, but just talking on the phone, especially in a really heated conversation, or if they spilling tea with somebody, they really into the conversation. Some people are going to say on their website, no talking on the phone. I've had clients, I have a lot of clients where they be like, call this person for me. Can you hit this person? What did this person text me? I personally don't mind it, because I can work at a fast pace. So I don't mind them asking, type the password in, call this person, FaceTime this person. So if that's not something that you are willing to do, you know you can't work fast while doing all of this and it's a lot going on, then maybe you need to put no phone calls, be on your phone during the appointment. Another big thing is, are kids allowed and are extra guests allowed? I go back and forth between this, because sometimes it's almost like going to the bank with the whole deposits and cash only and stuff like that. That's fine, but I realize whenever I've had on my site that guests are allowed, people take advantage of that. So personally, I'm gonna put no guests allowed. If it's a client that I know has been coming to me for a while and it's, can I bring my son? I got his iPad, he has his iPad, he'll sit in the corner, he's not gonna do nothing. Cool. I would say no kids. You do want this to be a quiet luxury service, but if it comes down to it and somebody needs to, and you're not bringing your kid every time to your appointment, we're not doing that. But so that's something to think about. Now the extra guests, some people be wanting to bring their boyfriend, their uncle, their aunt, their mama, they like, where y'all about to go? Like, why do you have all of these people at your lash appointment? No. So the whole thing with extra guests and all of that, it's a no for me. Another thing, eating. You would think that you wouldn't have to put this on your booking site, but some clients are gonna bring food, bring Starbucks, all of this, like they just stopped and got it. You cannot drink Starbucks while laying down on the table. What are y'all doing? So make sure you have on there, if you do start noticing that, so no cell phones, no eating, no kids. If you require a mask, you can have that on there as well. So those are just little small policies that you can have in place. That's it for all of the policies. Now I'm going to go over pricing. So pricing is going to be different for every lash tech, every target audience, and every demographic, region where you live. All of this comes into play, as well as your experience, how long it takes you for each set. And honestly, it's just going to come down to, you need to charge how much you think you are worth. Now, if you've only done 2 people, I would recommend that you not charge $200, but I've seen it happen before, and I'm not going to discourage you from, if you feel like that work is $200 and you do what you want to do. I always recommend, for my students that live in Atlanta, charge your minimum. So your classic set needs to be $100, because 9 times out of 10, most people are not getting classic. That hybrid set, you can go up $10 or $15. So that hybrid set being $110 to $115. The reason why I always say charge at least $100, 90 being the cheapest for whatever your first set is because once you are experienced, you're 3 to 6 months in, you know how long it takes you, your time is down, it's time to jump those prices up, and it's going to be a lot easier to go from $100 for that classic set to $125, that classic set being $50, and now all of a sudden you want to charge $115, $125 because you are now more experienced. Regardless of whenever you change your prices, you are going to have clientele leave, but you're going to have way more people leave you if you are jumping that big of a gap from 50 to 125 than 100 to 125. So just keep that in mind whenever you feel like you want to charge super, super low. Now, when you are first starting out, of course, you want to run a special. Don't think that you are going to be charging $100 when you first start on every person. You need to run a special for at least your first 10 clients or until you feel completely comfortable with charging $100. The cheapest I would say for your special is going to be $70 one set, usually hybrid or volume, just so you can kind of get used to doing fans. Come up with your regular prices first, how much you want to be charging as, okay, I'm comfortable, I've done 10 to 25 people, I'm comfortable. Come up with how much you want to be charging at that point. And if you are scared to charge $70 for your special, for your first 10 people, you can do those first 2-3 people free, but please spend as much time as you need to perfecting those people. Do not play around with them. Really try to get super good at your skill, because if you get used to doing free people, you are not going to want to start charging people. And when I tell you to raise your prices every 6 months, you're just going to be looking lost. I'm not one of those trainers that's going to tell you to do a whole bunch of free people and do free people until you feel comfortable. No. You're gonna get comfortable when that first paying client comes in and you like, oh my God, I don't know this person. If I charge this girl $70 and it looks bad, that's gonna put a lot more pressure on you than somebody coming in for free like, oh yeah, I can just do whatever with these lashes. She's not paying for them anyway. Because a lot of people will tell you to do free lashes until you feel comfortable. And I've seen that happen before. People like, oh yeah, I've done like 50 people. And I'm like, why are you not charging people? Your work looks really good. And people are just scared to charge somebody when you've been wasting your time. You're wasting your time. You're wasting your time and your energy. You're wasting products. Start charging after that third free person. So going back to figuring out how much you want to charge, you want to think about your target audience. It's nothing wrong with having affordable prices. So saying after those first 6 months, you want to still be that affordable lash tech, and saying, okay, well, I want all of my sets to be under $125. There's nothing wrong with that. And there's also nothing wrong with saying, okay, once those 6 months are up, I want to be charging at least $200, $250 per lash set. Pros and cons to both. Going the affordable route, you are going to have affordable clients. Those people are going to see, okay, well, the most expensive set, the mega volume, is $125, but I don't have $125 today, so I'm just going to text her and be like, hey, can I get this for $100? Can you not charge me today? I can pay you next week. Things like that you will have to deal with when you are dealing with a certain type of clientele. People are going to be like, okay, well, the mega volume is $125, but I can get the volume for $115. But I want the mega volume. So I'm going to book for volume, and I'm just going to keep telling her make them fuller until they're mega volume. You're going to see a lot of different things with those type of clients compared to somebody who's like, okay, well, I'm going to pay $250 for what I want and be done with it. Whenever I completely raise my prices to over $150, the type of clientele I had was much more pleasant than the people that I had who would come when I had super cheap prices, like under $125. Usually be more punctual. They're not going to be late. If they are late, they're going to communicate with you, and they're going to communicate with you earlier. Like, hey, I'm already running 30 minutes behind, so I'm going to be 10 minutes behind for my appointment. Is that okay? I can go ahead and send you the money now. Please let me know if I need to pay the late fee. They're going to be more considerate of you than the people who are looking for the discount on lashes. Keep that in mind. You go whichever route you want to go, whichever one makes you feel more comfortable. Also, keep in mind, you don't have to offer every single set. You can offer what you are comfortable with doing. A lot of people do not offer mega volume. A lot of people do not offer classic. Most popular things you're gonna find are gonna be hybrid and volume. Light hybrid can be a thing, kind of like I told y'all, I don't do classic. The least full set I'm gonna do is gonna be considered like a natural set, which is a light hybrid. And the last thing you are going to need before starting your site is going to be a logo. You can do this for completely free on Canva, different logo websites. You can get somebody to make your logo, whatever, but you do want to try to have a logo before doing a booking site. And 2 things with logos, you want to make sure you do not have a glitter logo. Any marketing coach who is in business is going to tell you, do not have glitter in your logo. It's kind of tacky. It's not kind of tacky, it is tacky. And then the next thing is you want to make sure you have a transparent file of your logo. You can have a pink background logo. Your background can be a certain color, but you also need to have a file that is transparent. So whenever you do this website, put your logo on here and it not your background for your whole page is black, and then you have a square logo that's pink in the back. So I hope y'all took away a lot from this video, and I will see y'all in my next one.